What's the main reason? Because it's so sad to see, but the divorce rates of Muslims is even increasing.
I think in this day and age, I would say three key reasons why there are divorces taking place.
And so many divorces.
So many
So
divorces,
many.
yeah. So number one would be, I think so, in-law interference. There's a lot of marriages where in-laws are interfering in the marriages of their own kids. You know, you have the parents of the groom telling their son, you need to tell her what to do, you need to do this, you need to tell her to do this and that. Or the mother or the father would have an issue with their daughter-in-law, and so the son hears it, and without even listening to her side or talking this over with his wife, he just goes and he just unleashes on his wife, and vice versa. Okay, there was a case a long time ago I dealt with, but there was this one woman that where every time she went home, her mom and her sister just kept on telling her that, they were like training her. Like when you go home and your husband says this, this is how you are to respond. And if he says this, then you this is how you respond. And interestingly, those two people, they got divorced. And that man, by the way, I saw this man a few years later. He had already moved on. He got married and he already had a child with
His new
his
wife.
new wife. And I talked to him about this case, and I realized that the problem was his ex-wife, because she was pinned against him, or she was pitted against him, and the mother and the sister just had such a role to play in this matter. So I would say in-law interference is one. Number two is, especially in this day and age, with the rise of liberal feminism, I think the idea of gender roles is,
Turned on its head.
oh man, it has caused a lot of problems within many families. You understand? Because now you have women who are working, you have men who are working, and then it becomes a dispute that, okay, like this idea, we've made this very clear, that this idea that even many women have, that my money is my money and his money is my money,
No.
this doesn't exist. It does not exist in any book of fiqh. It does not exist anywhere. But yet you'll find a lot of women saying these kind of things. Okay.
Because that's what we're told. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
It's a Western. That's a complete Western
it's a
concept.
Western idea, and the thing is that it does not exist anywhere. The husband has a moral obligation. He has a responsibility to take care of his family, provide for his family, as highlighted in the Quran and seen in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. But so going back to this idea of gender roles, you understand, what is his role, what is her role, and because of this whole like, I can do whatever a man can do and so forth. This has caused a lot of problems in many families. And by the way, I would say this also, that, and I think I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I'll say it, that I think a lot of women also who are not married, there are a lot of women who are approaching their 30s and they're not getting married.
30s, Sheikh. They're approaching their 40s.
Okay,
and
they're 40s
not
and
married.
they're not, and the reason why is because there's a lot of men who are seeing what's going on and they're like, you know what, I don't want to get married. Even if I do get married, I'd rather go and find someone from overseas. And this is not only our Muslim community. I was actually doing a study on this, that even American men, a lot of American men, they're like, you know what, I don't want to marry a woman from the United States who does not have cultural values and so forth, or who's not willing to understand that there's a difference. There's a role that a man plays and there's a role that a woman plays. This is mentioned clearly in the Quran. لِلرِّجَالِ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا اكْتَسَبُوا وَلِلنِّسَاءِ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا اكْتَسَبْنَ. A man has a role to play, a woman has a role to play. They're not, just because a woman can play a certain role does not diminish that the role the man can play, and vice versa. So gender roles, especially in this day and age, and there are a lot of women, I was saying 30, Larry's saying 40.
I'm saying
and
40.
But there are a lot of men who are saying, why should I marry? Why should I spend thousands of dollars, get married, and then one small issue, and then I have to go to court, I have to pay so much money, I have to give half my estate away. Why should I even get married to begin with?
What is it they call it? The passport. I have to look it up again. There's actually a nickname for men who go do that. It's like I have to look it up. I've heard
passport nikah or something?
I have
It's
I don't
it's
know.
very Western, but I have to look it up. I'll tell you later when I can find
It's not
it.
like a white man mentality, right?
No, it's like it's like passport fiancés or passport marriage or something like that.
Well, by the way,
I
I'm
have to
telling
look
you,
it up.
like even American men, they're going to like South America, they're going overseas,
Yep.
they're going to the Philippines, they're going to
Yep.
all these other places because they're like, we can't
They
deal
want
with
to because
this.
they want a traditional woman.
Yeah, they want a traditional woman.
Everyone
Yeah,
does.
so yeah, because and that
And
is
women
not.
want a traditional man.
But that's one like I'm sure you've seen it on different podcasts, but that's one sided. They want a traditional man, but yet they still want to go on. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna go to the club, yo. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna still do my money and have my thing.
Yeah,
But then
so-
they want some of that. But you're gonna open my door and you're gonna pay my bills and you're gonna pay my dinner. Like when you can't have it one way. If you want a traditional man, you need to be a traditional woman. Because
Well-
it's not one side. He's like going, what? Then what I love is like there's like one. What are you offering? You're making these standards, but what are you giving? Well, he's got it. He's got the whole package. Like, well, what the hell does that mean? The whole package. What does that mean, man? So I mean, these are these are the issues.
Look, look. Let me say this very clearly. There are women out there who want a traditional man. Okay,
No,
they
for
want it.
sure.
They want a traditional man, but a traditional man wants a traditional woman. As simple
Exactly,
as that.
simple.
So you got to. So and I gave a khutbah about this. Like I think so. Like 2 weeks ago.
Where was I?
Well,
I wish I was there. Where was
By the
I?
way, I gave a khutbah about this, and I had so many men who came to me and they praised me because it's because most of the khutbahs that take place in our masajid is where the imam is just bashing the men. Okay, it's like men, you are terrible men, and so I gave a khutbah where I kept it balanced. I actually did mention that how the man needs to show love to his wife. But then I took out 10 minutes towards the end of my khutbah and I explained how a woman needs to show respect to her husband. You understand? And for the first, like, I had so many men who came to me. They're like, "Thank God."
Well, that's the men. What was the hate mail from the women, bro?
Well, I did get one or two emails about that, you know. But the point is that look, gender. We were talking about what are the key reasons, okay? So one was gender roles, one was in-law interference, and I would say number three is finances. Finance, especially when a husband and wife, they both have very successful careers and they both have very good paying jobs. The question is that who pays for what around the house, and that becomes a conflict. And yes. It does.
So the richer they are, the more finances.
Well, because they see, look,
more money, more problems. That's
the way it works. And so it's more about like, okay, I need to hold on and secure what I have. So on one hand, the woman says, you know, it's that mentality. My money is my money. Your money is my money too. So meaning that I can have access to your money as I wish, without any limitations.
But why don't you bring up the Sheikh? Bring up that hadith that they
Exactly.
that they bring up every time in order to justify why they have that mentality.
Well,
which is actually, I'm sure it's out of context.
Is out of context. So there was a woman who came to the Prophet ﷺ and said that my husband is not providing for me, my children, and so forth. Interestingly, Rasulullah said, you know, see, this is why subhanAllah, Rasulullah is such an amazing figure. He was rahmatul alameen. The Prophet ﷺ's response was that you have access to his money. Take as much as you need to take care of your needs. That's all. So what the Prophet ﷺ is saying is, in essence, go and gain access to his money. I mean, you go and gain.
She already has access. Take what you need.
Take what you need. So mean that go ahead and gain your access, but it's not that where you can then spend as you wish and as you desire. Take what you need. You understand? So that is the key part here. Is that where a lot of women where they miss out is that the Prophet ﷺ is giving her access to her husband's money and estate. Go and take whatever you know. That's it. And they miss out the last part, which is take what you need. You understand?
Well, not only that, because Sheikh, they also think that, you know, that gives them justifications like going, well, that's her money too, so she can dip in it.
Yes.
That's not the case.
That's not the case. There's no place in our deen.
The deal is that the context that brings up, he was not giving her any money. He was not providing.
Right. Of course.
So
that's
she
another
went
issue,
to complain and said the Prophet ﷺ said, go and take what you need, because he was not giving her anything. But the situations now in modern times, that's not what's occurring. He's taking care of her, but she wants more. And that's where they're going, well, it's my money, you know, my money's my money and his money's my money. That's not correct.
Yeah, and by the way, we dealt with one case where that there was a lot of financial abuse involved, you know, and so when they came to the mediation table, like, you know, she felt like that, okay, you know what, all the financial abuse I've been through,
it's my reckoning.
Now this is my time to like get even with him. You understand? And we have to remind them when you get to mediation, look, if he has done something wrong to you, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of it, and Allah will hold him accountable for that. You understand? We're not in the position of gods here. You understand? We're not sitting here and telling, okay, you know what, he's guilty, let's charge him for this. You understand?
No.
That's between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala holds every person accountable for whatever wrong they did. If he did something wrong to you, he's going to be accountable for it regardless. And we always tell him also that if she has done something wrong to you, don't come here to this table right now and try to deprive her because she has done. Yes, there's a lot of anger built up for what she may have done in the marriage, but this is not the time to do this.
What's funny, sometimes in a couple of mediations, they've come to us thinking that we're going to make a judgment. It's like, no. We're not in the, you choose mediation. We're not here to make a judgment. We're trying to get y'all together to agree on things. We're not here to pass, if it comes to a fiqh issue, we'll tell you, this is the opinion on, this is how we're going to handle the issue. But then all of a sudden they want us to make a judgment, a ruling. I'm like, no.
I thought you guys were making
well, no, so that's mediation. That's mediation, right?
Arbitration, it's what we call like a pseudo court. It's court without going, what I call court without going to court. You waive the decision from the court in order to have it handled in arbitration, but the setting in arbitration is it's a very loose format in regards to court. But in the end, it'll be me and Nadeem, and if we ever bring on a third party to the panel or someone we've consulted with, we end up making the final ruling in regards to the matter. The only thing they bring up is that they bring in their arguments. We let one side speak for a certain amount of time. They'll do their opening, they'll bring their argument, so on and so forth with the other side, and then they'll close, and then me and Nadeem will deliberate. We'll tell them we'll get back with you in about a week or 10 days, and we'll give you our final ruling.
And you guys do this online only, or in
No, this is all. Most of our stuff is all in person.
In person, yeah.
Okay, but you can do online.
Yes, we can.
If they're out of state, then yes, yeah.
Okay, so I like that you went into the process here. So a couple shows up. They don't need to come in with lawyers. They don't need to come in with family. Just the two of them that come in.
Yeah, because see, a lot of times family is not the best influence either.
No, and
a lot of times, and we've learned that the hard way. Family's there, and they're just, instead of like giving them proper advice, they're giving them a lot of like wrong advices.
Pretty much telling them what to do.
Yeah, telling them what to do, and so that's why we just want the people themselves, the husband himself, the wife herself, and that is it.
I'm your host, Mahmoud Al Ansari, and this is the Ansari Podcast.